We take it to Parliament, where Interior Minister Ambrose Derry has assured the House government is increasing the supply of PPEs to security officials along Ghana's borders to enable them effectively keep the country safe from importation of COVID-19 cases. Monitoring the situation on the floor of Parliament is Joseph Opoku Gakpo. He joins us on the line. Joe, what else has the Interior Minister been saying? Right, Joseph, what else has the Interior Minister been saying? We seem to have lost Joseph Opoku Gakpo there. We'll re-establish that connection with him and get him back on the line for the latest there. But we stay in Parliament because Minority Spokesperson on Education Peter Nochu says government's decision to let final year JHS and SHS students return to school for a period of 3 months will endanger them. The Education Minister has announced the final year SHS students will spend 6 weeks undertaking revision when they return to school, and another 5 weeks will be spent writing exams. But Peter Nochu says the students had only about 2 weeks left on the academic calendar before schools closed. He says it is the only additional duration they should be spending in school when they resume, warning keeping them for a long duration could expose them to COVID-19. We'll get the latest on that, but Joseph Opoku Gakpo has rejoined us on the line. Joseph, if you can hear me, let's begin with the Interior Minister's briefing of Parliament today. Right, we'll go back to Parliament for the latest stories from there, but let's stick with education. And a member of the National Council for Parent-Teacher Associations, Alexander Danso, is advocating for final year SHS students who will be returning to school to be allowed to use mobile phones on campus. He says it will be difficult for the students and their parents to live for about 3 months without visiting privileges. Education Minister Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh announced on Tuesday that parents of final year students in senior high schools and second year Gold Track students will not be allowed to visit their wards as a way of limiting the spread of COVID-19. But speaking on Joy Prime TV's Prime Morning, to myself, Mr. Danso appealed to government to also consider alternatives that can allow children access to their parents.
We saw it necessary to include them in the reopening of only the candidates. But for the testing, just after we had presented our proposals to the president, fortunately we had the COVID team, 2 doctors in our midst, and they gave us some education, and they were saying that somebody could test negative today, but because of the incubation period of whatever, the person could be infected, and it will be the person will later test positive. And so the issue is, if we want any testing to be done, then it should be done before we go to school, and throughout the school period, we should also go through the testing, which is not possible anyway. And so once we were told that any time there was a positive case in a particular community or school, they will do contact tracing and probably test all the students and the teachers in that particular educational institution.
Right, so on the opening of schools, with the reopening of schools in the Gold Track, which is the issue that you highlighted there? You mentioned that you may have some concerns.
We did not mention that. We only wanted the candidates to be in school. But that was the Gold Track students of
Apologies for the wrong soundbite there. That was Philippa Larson. She's president of the Ghana National Association of Teachers. All the best to the sisters. And remember the hashtag, Stop the Stigma. Let's go back to Parliament. As we told you earlier, Interior Minister Ambrose Derry has assured the House government is increasing the supply of PPEs to security officials along Ghana's borders. Also, the minority spokesperson on education has been speaking on government's new move to reopen schools. Joseph Opoku Gakpo is our man on the ground. Joe, let's begin with the Interior Minister.
So he's been responding to questions generally on what is being done in order to keep the borders safe and avoid a situation of the importation of more cases of COVID-19 right here into the Republic of Ghana. And he's been explaining that the security agencies are stepping up patrols as part of those measures. He's been giving details of some of the cases in which foreigners tried to get into the country but were stopped or prevented from getting in, and indicating that as far as the President's directive are concerned, the borders remain closed until whether it's about land border, whether it's about the airport or any other means of entering the country, the security agencies are adequately prepared and policing all of those areas. It's in the midst of that conversation that there were questions to him about how the security officials are adequately protected so they can do the job of preventing people from getting into the country. And he said that efforts are ongoing to ensure that even when it comes to protective equipment that are being produced locally, enough numbers of those will be provided for the security people so they're able to keep the country's borders safe.
So, Joseph, what else has been happening on the floor of Parliament today?
Right here in Parliament, the Minister for Interior, apart from him responding to the questions, there's also been a statement on the celebration of World Hypertension Day by the Deputy Health Minister, Dr. Bernard Okoboy. And he's been commenting on how, because of the COVID-19 situation, they've seen incidents where a lot of those who have passed on as a result of COVID-19 have had various underlying conditions, including hypertension. So he says the celebration of a day like that is even more important today in the light of COVID-19 and virtually drums home the need for all Ghanaians to keep healthy and do things that will not make them fall prey to diseases like hypertension. Well, apart from that, the Minister for Trade and Industry, Alan Chimantin, has also been responding to questions on the floor of Parliament, specifically on the issue of the Commander Sugar Factory. And he says once the situation with the closure of the borders are actually out of the way, we will see a situation where a new company that's actually coming in, AgroPark Ghana Limited, they have technical expertise from India that they are working with. They've not been able to come in because of the lockdown and also the closure of the border as a result of COVID-19. Government has identified that particular firm as the strategic investor, which is coming to revive the Commander Sugar Factory, and they'll be investing about $3 million every year over a period of 15 years. And so once the nation's borders are opened, they will come in and help revive the Commander Sugar Factory so it can
Joe,
provide the jobs.
What
and the
are these projects, Joseph, and where are they?
Daniel, can you say that again for me?
What are the projects and where are they?
The Commander Sugar Factory project is the project that the minister has been responding to questions on. And he says that the investors who would come help with the project it's a Ghanaian-based company, but their partners are in India. So those are the set technical expertise from India that they are waiting to come in once the border reopens, so that then they can come revive the Commander Sugar Factory.
Right. Now, you told us earlier how the minority spokesperson on education, Peter Kotwe, says that government's decision to let final year students return to school for a period of 3 months will endanger them. Can you shed some more light on that?
Peter Nochu has been commenting generally on government's decision to allow for final years to come back to school. He says that's something that they agree with, that the final year students need to get back to school. But his only concern is that when you look at the timetable, as has been outlined by the Minister for Education, they will be in school for a period of 5 weeks, after which they will write exam for a period of 6 weeks. For him, that's 11 weeks running into 12 weeks, almost a whole term. And for him, that's too long a duration. He makes the point that it was left with just about 2 weeks in order for them to actually get back to school and all. And so then the expectation was that they would have continued with that final 2-week duration rather than for them to reopen and then stay on for a period of 11 weeks. And so he thinks them staying in for an extended period is actually what will endanger them, and that it should just have been a limited 2-week period that they could just have stayed in and then gone ahead and gone back home. And so he's asking government to be careful with the extended duration that they would remain on.
Did he get a response? Has there been a response to him?
Not exactly. It's not an issue that has actually come up for conversation right here on the floor. It's on the precincts that he made that point, except that, as we've heard the Education Ministry officials repeatedly make the point, the necessary measures are being put in place so that then the academic calendar is not disrupted to any extent.
Thank you so much, Joseph Opoku Gakpo, for joining us in Parliament with those details. And on our Stop the Stigma campaign today, we hear from the Kontihima of Ogwa traditional area, who warns of the deadly nature of stigmatization.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwok. The Energy Ministry is raising concerns with the appointment of a non-Ghanaian as new managing director of Tullow Ghana. The oil exploration firm earlier this month announced a former employee of British Petroleum, Wissam Al-Munthiri, as new boss as current managing director Kweku Awotwe retires by the end of this month. Dr. Amin Adams says as a partner, government has not been notified.
And so there is a rise in the number of Ghanaian companies or indigenous companies that have registered to work in the industry. But you and I know that most of these companies have not done work in the industry before. And this industry is about track record, you know. And so you have to support them with the capacity to be able to work in the industry, to become competitive in the industry.
I have to tell you that of the 5,000 Ghanaians that were recruited in 2019, to work in the industry, 600 of them were in management positions. Some senior management, others middle level management, 600. That's quite decent to start with. Specific to Mr. Awotwe, he is a distinguished technocrat and leader. And I know that both Ghana and Tullow have not regretted his leadership. Similar to the Ghanaians we have at Cosmos Energy and other companies. The latest Ghanaian to be appointed to head a foreign company is Ms. Khadija Amwa, Aker Energy country director. And so as Mr. Awotwe is leaving, another Ghanaian has assumed a bigger role in another company. But let me say that we only have been informed so far about Mr. Awotwe's exit. But as to who will replace him, the company will usually come and discuss with government. And we haven't received any delegation to discuss that yet. And so if you're already talking about a foreigner having replaced him, that is not known to us because officially we haven't discussed the replacement with the company. Yes, this is not official because...
Now, socio-economic life is set to improve significantly at Azwabisi, suburb of Gambigo in the Bolgatanga East District of the Upper East region. This is because a total of 91 homes there have now been connected to the national grid. These homes until now had been without electricity, even though the area was first connected to the national grid about 20 years ago. Correspondent Albert Sori has more.
The Azwabisi suburb of Gambibgo, here in the Bolgatanga East District of the Upper East region, has never had electricity until now. Although electricity first got to this area some 20 years ago, many of the homes around here never got connected. It is a farming community not too far away from the Bolgatanga township, but those many years without electricity has had some negative impact on the people here, with poor academic performance of their children the major consequence.
When there was no light here. It was like this side of the community was like we're in the hell. Most of our youth during the night, they will all flock to where there are lights, either to look, view TV, or just have social lives. So it was difficult for us to control our children. So because of that, the young girls and boys, I mean, most of our girls were getting pregnant as a result of that.
This area is made up of people who are into weaving of baskets, seriously weaving of baskets. So because of that, almost all basket dealers comes here to buy baskets. But the challenge here is electricity. And today, we are happy the Honorable himself is here to power Gambigo Tengren for us to be able to continue with our little business, or let's say weaving baskets business that we do here.
According to Bolgatanga East District Chief Executive, Reverend Emmanuel Abole, the MPP government has now connected this part of the district to the national grid in fulfillment of a 2016 electioneering campaign promise.
And we need also to put smile in the face of most of these people around, so they can also let their economic activities pick up. Others are already even preparing to get their milling machine take off, and they needed the light. I was told of one of the milling, machines and the house, and this has passed there. A few other people will also rise up. God being good, the road here is now linking to Bost, which the contractor has started. And as soon as it becomes a major road, principal road, a tied road, and the people here now will be grateful. Greater economic activities will rise. They need light to kickstart all these. These are some of the motivations so that poverty will be reduced. And those who are around also can have the contentment, the level of satisfaction to stay at home and engage themselves in ventures that will promote their economic empowerment.
A total of 91 houses have been connected to the national grid, with close to 1,000 people now benefiting from the use of electricity here at Azua BC. For Joy News, Albert Sori, Gambibgo, Bolgatanga East District.
Now let's take you now to Kumasi, where the regional minister is pledging support for the ongoing exercise. Nanayao Jima joins us live with more. Nanayao, tell us more about what the regional minister has been saying. Do I have Nanayao on the line?
Yes, Daniel.
Right. Tell us more about what the regional minister has been saying.
So Mr. Simon Osemensa, who happens to be the Ashanti regional minister, has been speaking on the impending new voter registration exercise. And according to him, if the pilot is successful and the EC okays the new voter register, he and the Regional Security Council will offer EC daily support that it will need, especially relating to the COVID-19 protocols, ensuring that it is well adhered to. So that will be one of the things that he will best interest in. And also he believes that even though there are a lot of people who are in the new register, it might encourage people not to troop into these registration centers to vote. So what he will do is to help ensure that a lot of people get about the relevance of writing your name or registering so that the people will troop in. So he says the Regional Coordinating Council will ensure that all the materials that will be needed for the NCCE and other government agencies to go out there and publicize this exercise will be given to these agencies and ensure the exercise is successful in the region.
Right. So, Nanaya, where was he speaking and what was the occasion?
Okay, so he spoke at a press briefing. He made a press to update them on development in the region when this came up as a question to him, and he responded. This is the second day that the piloting exercise is being undertaken in the Ashanti region, even though according to he's not been here yet to observe what is being done. Reports that he's getting from his officers and social distancing and other protocols are being adhered to.
But he hasn't been there himself?
Not yet.
Right. Have you picked any reports from the registration exercise ourselves?
We don't have any update on that yet.
Right. Now, thank you so much for joining us on this. We'll move to other stories.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on JoyNews today. Now, legendary gospel music duo Tego Sisters say just like everyone, they have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Good news, however, is that they are keeping safe and urging all to do the same.
COVID-19, this pandemic, nobody knew that this thing is coming. It just came. But as the song ministers, it wasn't easy because now we have a programs plan that we have to do. Some people also invited us for their programs, but because this thing came, And immediately it happens, the president said that everybody should stay home. So all these activities went down the carpet. So we've been trying to cope because it's something that nobody, you can't see it and you don't know how to fight it. So obeying the instruction of the president. So I believe we have done a lot to cope with it. If you are not going out to do anything, you are not going to buy anything, stay home. Put some mask, your nose mask. Sanitizer, don't forget it, and it will help you. Stay blessed.